It was completely unnecessary to kill that man. He was really nice.
He was a sop. A hipster sop.
Shh. The sacrifices I've had to make.
What sacrifices?
Children these days are really spoiled. Like, Mummy, I want a PlayStation. Mummy, I want you to kill that man.
I don't want a new...
I know you don't want a new daddy, but there was no possibility of that, so stop going on about it.
He saw everything.
I know he's a witness, but there's a chance he might not have told anyone.
His name was Josh.
No, you're right. No one called Josh is not going to tell the authorities.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Heath.
And I'm Jay.
And you're listening to Host of Horrors, show where we discuss and review horror films based off of predetermined themes of the month. Jay.
I continue to love your introductions.
Oh, thank you.
So, I don't even know what to say about this film we just watched. Not even gonna lie.
This movie was a trip. It was like a fucking roller coaster of emotions for me.
Man, let me tell you, I'm glad I don't have a vagina. I'm glad I don't have ovaries. Because I do not I just don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through pregnancy.
What, you don't want a little baby talking to your head telling you to kill people?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so we just watched Alice Lowe written, directed, and starring vehicle Prevenge.
My God, yet another passion project. Or, you know what? I just want to know how people can just get so much money to do movies. Like, how in the absolute fuck did James Bond III manage to get money to make Death by Temptation and to be able to just, like, not just write it, just not produce it, but also star in it? I don't know. This feels like this is the same case. Well, it's 2016, so it's probably in the world of crowdfunding and all of that, so maybe this was crowdfunded?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of crowdfunding, have you been following Chris Stuckman?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's
his film, his project, Shelby Creek.
I really wanted to donate to it. Is it too late?
No, it's still, from what I know, it still has at least maybe like 2 weeks left, maybe a little less than 2 weeks. But no, dude, it is the most funded horror film on Kickstarter.
What?
500,000.
Wow.
He has already gotten 500,000. Which is mind-blowing for me as someone who wants to make a horror movie and watching someone that I have watched for years, someone who inspired me to even do something like this, actually make his passion project how he wants to make it.
Without any meddling from the studios.
Yeah, completely bypassing studios. I mean, he was only hoping for like maybe 200,000, maybe 500,000. And he still has 2 weeks to go.
And you know what's funny? Like, horror movies are usually the cheapest to make.
Yeah, well, nowadays, I mean, there's places he wants to film that's going to cost a lot, lighting and everything. I mean, even though horror movies are the cheapest to make, 500,000 is not a lot to make a horror movie, or to make any kind of movie.
It really isn't, especially if you're trying to get people paid and to just clear everything up from props to hell, even getting accounting done, it does cost a lot. Like, right now, I'm actually working. I'm like an office PA right now for a feature film that's being shot in the area. And I snuck at the budget, and my God, it's money.
Yeah.
Like, already spending basically like almost $100K on just housing alone. And on top of paychecks. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm working on a multi-million-dollar movie, and seeing people just be able to create and to make meaningful stories from just freaking less than $100,000. That's wild to me. Like, how people can do that. Like, I think there's some films that were like made on less than 10K. And they have, like, all the awards. And I'm like, bitch, I wish that were me.
Well, I mean, you know what they say. I mean, when you have a limited budget, your creativity comes out more because you have to figure out how to make your idea come to life without the proper tools.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, there will be a link in the description to fund Chris's passion project. So yeah, from what I remember, there's at least 2 weeks. Go fund this movie because I want to see what he's got, man. I will definitely be buying that fucking movie.
So, speaking of budgets, this movie was basically made on, I think it was like not even £100,000 because it's a UK film. So this budget was roughly $104,338.80, not really adjusted for inflation because I'm too lazy and I don't know how to do math. So basically, we got this 100K film, and not gonna lie, it shows.
It does show.
It shows.
There was certain limitations, but there were really gross things that happened that I feel like a lot of the money went to. And I kind of appreciate the grossness of it because I'm a gore candy kind of guy. But at the same time, I'm like, this was like not a good gross. This was more, I don't know, disturbing and realistic gross.
It was very realistic. So
there's like brains on the floor and testicles falling out. You see a baby being C-sectioned out.
It feel. You know what? The part that grossed me out most was the basic like castration.
No,
and nothing else really grossed me out, but that did.
No, see, that hurt me. What grossed me out is when Homeboy puked in his afro and then kissed her.
Oh my god!
I was eating nuggets.
Are fucking gross.
I was eating nuggets at the time. I had to go put them down.
Okay, so did we already say the title of it? I think we said it.
We said the title of it.
Once again, Prevenge. So the title and the poster gotta speak for itself. Like, you see what the movie's kind of gonna be about from just looking at the poster. But boy, did I tell you, there's a lot more going on than I thought was going to. Like, I thought it's gonna be like, oh, we're about to have like a horror, like this kind of horror comedy about like this woman who's basically like her and her baby going on a rampage, but like
she's like
slash on some you know,
randos.
Unborn stuff, yeah.
Like, it seems like randos at first. So basically, like, the baby is telling her to kill people, but there's this little mystery going on the entire time about like her husband or her significant other at the time. And the further along the movie, you get these little subtle clues. And of course, like, you know, not even halfway through the movie, I knew what the twist was. Like, well, one of the twists. And yeah, so basically, like, her significant other went on a rock climbing trip with a bunch of other people. And something happened where either they had to cut the rope and he had to die, or they were all going to die. So they made the hard decision to cut the rope, and he died. So the randos
and it shows.
And it shows it. Oh, he died. But so the randos that you think she's just murdering because they're piece of shit pig men or, you know, fucking degrading women, you think they're randos at first, but then you realize, oh no, they're not. They were actually on that rock climbing trip with her boyfriend at the time.
Yeah, no. So, I really wasn't sure what the hell is going on with this film, like, starting out. It was just kind of like randos and stuff. But the more you kind of uncovered the mystery of this film, that's where it started to click. Yeah,
because at first, it's like the fourth victim. You start to get a clue that they're all connected in some sort of way. So, like, the first guy is this exotic pet shop owner who speaks in innuendos. Everything he says is a sexual innuendo, and she murders him. So you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Second guy is that Dan dude who was an absolute piece of shit.
DJ Dan, like, not if out of everybody who deserved to die, he deserved to die.
Oh, big time.
And also, best death of the whole movie, just saying.
Yeah, he's the one that gets castrated.
He got, see, the thing about it is, I wasn't sure with the way that the kills were done. So, of course, when it comes to budget, the kills were done in a way where sometimes you can see the clear cut. Sometimes you don't see the action. You see what could be the action. So,
Yeah,
because, budget.
It's almost always like you hear the stab, but you focus on her face, and then it cuts to them bleeding to death.
Yeah. So, there were, as much as the cinematography was giving indie student film, there were some pretty interesting shots that I really thought lended to the, I guess, wannabe art house feel of this film. I'm not gonna say it's art house, but it does give indie.
It gives hardcore indie, especially the cinematography when it comes to, and this actually bugged me the entire movie, where like sometimes they would be in focus and then all of a sudden just blurry as fuck until they got back into focus. Bothered me the entire time.
See, like I said, it was so giving indie.
It was so atrocious when she walks into the apartment and like the door is perfectly clear. Then she walks in and everything's blurry. And then it focuses back on her, but then she takes like a step forward and then everything's blurry again. I'm like, oh my god, please just stay in focus. Please.
Okay, so part of me feels like she got a group of friends together with maybe a couple of professionals and made a film. Because that focus pulling was amateur, but it's also like, okay, not even gonna lie, I do manual rack focus, so I kind of know how to do rack focus, and it feels like the focus puller was trying to do a certain way, and it just did not work, and it just took the best take of that. So I'm like, okay, girl, I get it, but it doesn't excuse the fact that why in the hell is half of the shots of the film close-ups of her and her victims? That was the majority of the film. Was like, you can tell it was mostly, if not all, handheld. You can tell that it was, a lot of it was close-ups or a lot like bus shots. I'm like, okay, girl, this is giving student film, like, first time filmmaker. And I'm like, girl, I get it. My film was I'm not gonna say my film was the same way, but it was a student film, so
but kudos on her, because she filmed it when she was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Got the premise from when she was pregnant and she wasn't getting hired for any acting gigs. So that's when she came up with the premise for the idea of the movie and wrote it in 3.5 days. So this is what kills me is, okay, she wrote the film because she was pregnant and she couldn't get any other job. That means within a, let's say 6 month period. 6 month period, she got financing and did this film.
She basically wrote, produced, acted in, and basically released the film from the time that she was probably about maybe 3 or 4 months pregnant to when she was 8 months pregnant. The baby could have came at literally any time. And I'm pretty sure, maybe here's a theory, I'm pretty sure that was her actual birth.
I don't know. I don't want to think about that.
I don't want to think about it, but like, girl, budget. That could have been her actual birth. So I'm just like, there's a possibility.
I'm just shocked at the commitment and the follow through of that. To get a movie like this, that it has become kind of sort of a cult classic, to get a movie like this made in the short amount of time that she did, fucking phenomenal.
Oh, no, that's genius, baby. That's the power of the Passion Project. Like, I don't know what kind of connection she had or what kind of, like, communication she gave for this film to be made, but the fact that she was able to make this film so quickly, relatively speaking, and for it to be as, the story was actually kind of compelling once you got to the middle of the film. So for as compelling as the film is, it's like you can tell that it was done, I'm not gonna say in a rush, but you can tell that it was written within like a week span. Like she just said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it all. Like she took a weekend off from whatever she was doing to write a movie. And I'm like, I applaud you.
Yeah, well, I mean, me personally, I wasn't compelled whatsoever until the end. Like, it literally, like, when she goes to kill her final victim, the climbing instructor, that was the only time I was compelled. The acting level went up like 100% for that scene, and I felt all the emotions that she was throwing out, and I was like, damn, girl, all right.
I think it was a build-up.
I mean, it really is. The entire movie is extremely bleak, black humor, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. I know you're not a fan of dry British comedy, but I thought this was fucking hilarious.
There are some moments where I had a laugh, but it's also like the subject matter. I was like, with the subject matter at hand, I was like, okay, this is actually kind of funny. If this was marketed as a horror comedy, I just got more horror-ish than anything else. Because I'm not going to say if it was a horror, like, horror in the terms of, like, this is, like, very scary thing going on. But even though they tried to do that with the first guy, like, you can tell that they're trying to put horror elements in there, and it didn't really work like that.
I don't know. It's a horror movie through and through because she's basically a serial killer.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like horror in like a loose term where it's just like, oh, it's a slasher. It's basically it's like a British slasher comedy.
Yeah,
it's once again using horror as a backdrop to what the genre actually is.
But that's horror. Like horror is literally just a backdrop. Horror is never you never sit there and go, oh, yep, that's a through and through horror movie. No, that's a haunted house movie. That's a cursed object movie. Oh, that's a fucking demon possession movie. That's why there's so many subgenres of horror, is because horror really is just a fucking term.
Yeah, I do overthink about this kind of stuff, so forgive me. So, but no, really though, like I found myself, because you know how I am about passion projects. There's a little bit of charm to this film that I just really wasn't expecting, and that's why I'm not so mad about the film, because I'm gonna give it like this: you made a film. That's more than a lot of people can do, and like I said, you may not thought the story was compelling, but I found a little bit of charm in the story, because this is obviously a personal story about grieving, about loss, about honestly coping. So with all of that in mind, it makes sense that this is a revenge film. Yeah, Prevenge is literally in the title. So honestly, this is a very original concept that I feel like no one's really explored at all. So I really do like that.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Alice Lowe came up with the idea for not being able to land jobs solely because she was pregnant. It makes that scene at the lawyers at the bureau where she was trying to get a job, and the lady was like, "Oh, well, we're not going to be hiring you." And she goes, "Is it because I'm pregnant?" No, it's not because you're pregnant. It's because
you're pregnant.
Basically, she's like, I mean, we've had to make a lot of cuts, and just basically stepping over the fact that, yeah, we're not hiring because you're pregnant, which happens all the fucking time.
And I'm not a woman. I don't identify as a woman. I do not have a vagina, nor can I get pregnant. So I can't really speak on all of like the different things about, you know, being pregnant and trying to find work while pregnant. Especially here in America. Like, the UK kind of has it better than we do when it comes to maternity leave. Like, most jobs, you get like 6 weeks and that's it, maybe paid.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also so many stories out there that talking about how they literally got fired after being pregnant.
And that's really fucked up.
But they didn't get fired because they were pregnant. It was for other reasons, just like the fucking lawyer was trying to say.
So it's just really crappy to see what kind of this discrimination that that pregnant women can go through, while being pregnant, especially being technically widowed and being a single mother. Yeah, no, that's crazy. And I appreciate this film more that I hear about what happens behind the scenes, because this actually reminds me of a film prize film, Best in Show, that Jaya, the lead actor, she was pregnant. So she wrote the...
okay,
yeah.
yes, I remember that one, yes.
Yeah, so this kind of gives me the same energy of like, oh, I may be pregnant, but that doesn't really mean shit. I can still make a film. I can still do what I need to do. And in this case, kill to get it.
Yeah.
And it does kind of break my heart, though, whenever, like, she actually has the baby and nothing's wrong. Like, the way that she was making it sound like, that baby was gonna be, like, the Antichrist. And I'm
Would
like...
you hear the baby talk?
Yeah, the baby
was the Antichrist.
The baby was the Antichrist, but it's like, why... But whenever the baby actually, like, came out and is like a normal little baby, it's just like...
a cute little baby, too.
Oh, a cute little baby. It just makes you wonder, was she thinking all of this as a way to cope? As a way to justify trying to kill him? Because, oh, the baby made me do it. It's like, it kind of makes you wonder what kind of mental and emotional trauma that she went through, realizing not only that your father died on the day that, find out you're pregnant on the day that your father died. But on top of that, it feels like, yeah, it was a group decision, but was it it wasn't like a mutual decision, was the real question.
Well, obviously not. I mean, if you're the one getting your fucking cord cut, I don't think he's going, yeah, it's okay, guys. Well, I mean, he might. You never know.
You never know.
Because, again, the thing is I get the instructor's point. Like, it was either sacrifice one person or kill 11.
Yeah.
So I get it, sacrifice one to save all. That was a decision that him, as the leader of that expedition, had to make. And that death is now on his conscience, but he would much rather have a single death on his conscience than 10 other. So it's a horrible fucking decision. It really is. And you did kill someone. But, on the other hand, So,
I guess it also makes me wonder, like, was he in the wrong for putting that many people on a rope in the first place?
But no.
It kind of makes you wonder, like, different things about it, though.
But he's a successful instructor. This was even in the newscast, this was the only accident that he has ever had.
Mm.
So it's not like it's an everyday thing. It's not like he is a bad instructor. It's not like he is at fault for putting them at danger. They knew the risk. They signed the waivers. He has been leading a successful career. This was just a bad day.
Yeah, a bad day can happen, but it's like, dang. Who would think that a bad day can lead to someone's life being taken? And it goes right back around whenever, Ruth or Claire or Siobhan, like, whenever she tries to basically, like, go for the last kill, I feel like there's a reason why she couldn't do it, despite him technically being the mastermind, quote unquote mastermind behind it all, the one who basically called for it to happen, the one whose death is on his hands. And it goes around and is like, yeah, basically, if she goes through with it, she, I'm assuming his wife or his significant other is gonna be in the same exact situation. So that part just makes you wonder, why a life for a life?
Yeah, I mean,
why a life for a life?
I mean, that should never be the option, obviously. Like, no matter how much hate you have in the world, taking someone's life isn't going to bring someone else's life back. It's just not.
Yeah, the midwife did say that, God, that midwife was trying so hard for her to be, like, normal.
Yeah.
To realize, like, hey, you're normal. And it just kind of is like, I just want Ruth to go to therapy. Because, like, obviously, like, she was dealing with a lot of that unpacked trauma and then taking it out on the freaking lives that she took, out of so-called revenge. And my God, this film's making me think way more than I thought.
That's horror movies, man.
Man, it is horror movies. Like, it's clever. Like, this film, as, budgety as it is actually kind of clever when you think about it. When it comes to its message, it may be a little bit sloppy at times, but hell, a film was made and a message was sent.
Yeah, another thing I kind of want to touch on is the reason I felt so compelled at the very end is when it's revealed that Matt, her boyfriend or significant other, whatever he was thinking about leaving Ruth. It's revealed that he was thinking about leaving. So it comes into mind, okay, was the baby actually talking to her? B, was it all in Ruth's head and she was doing it for basically revenge of passion? Killing for in the namesake of Matt? Or was she the one being selfish, which is a huge message throughout the entire movie? The baby constantly talks about, all these people are just being selfish. They cut that line because they were being selfish, because they wanted to live with no concern for Matt's life. But when you realize he was thinking about leaving her, was she just killing them to kill them because she wanted to?
Coping, maybe. It could be another form of coping, because who knew? That just got thrown out at the last minute. It was just like, oh, I was not expecting that. I guess it's kind of one of those things where, a baby can heal whatever wounds that we may have as in a relationship. But I can tell you that based on, other people's experiences that I've heard, that's not always the case.
No.
Sometimes having a kid just pushes y'all further away. And maybe that was kind of her way of being like, oh, I still have a piece of you with the baby, but maybe this could help things. Maybe this could...
But not...
It just makes it not fair.
Yeah, but that's not at all how it works most of the time.
It doesn't work
especially
like that, no.
Especially in the movie that we'll be reviewing next week. It really So if it's actually a really good tie-in to this movie. If this movie is what could happen while you are pregnant, while you are expecting, and you're trying to basically heal through the baby, the next movie we will be reviewing essentially shows when you have the baby, not always those wounds heal, and you begin to resent said child for those wounds.
Child. This does bring me to one of the lights of the movie. Man, Josh.
The really nice guy.
How dare this film makes me want to be like, oh, he could be like, everything is fixed. Or like, oh, I can possibly start finally, healing.
Yeah, I do like that they introduced an actual genuinely caring guy, because every other they actually did that twice, because even the rope instructor, the climbing instructor, was genuinely sweet. So I do like the fact that they kind of showed men being pieces of shit at first, and then towards the end showed a little bit of
compassion.
Compassion and kindness. But that leads us to the fourth kill, where we kind of realize something's going on, that these randos aren't actually randos, because she's there with Josh. They have a sweet, tender little moment, and his roommate walks in, looks at Ruth, and goes, "Oh, it's you." So you automatically are like, okay, these aren't random people. What's going on here?
Something's got to be up. Man.
And she kills homeboy, kills him, and then of course Josh sees all of it and is like, "Oh my god, what the hell's going on?" And she's like, "I'm so sorry," and kills him. Feels bad about it, but had to kill him.
You know what though? I feel like this film is possibly a frame of reference for a promising young woman, because that movie is a kind of sort of a revenge film in different ways, but it all comes from like bad shit happening to people who you care about. So, man, this could be a frame of reference for that film. Wow. But
speaking of frame of reference, you know the movie that she was watching? The black and white film with like the woman breaking through the glass and screaming and everything?
It looks like an old Hammer film.
It's not Hammer, because Hammer wasn't invented at the time, but it's a 1934 film called Crimes Without Passion.
Oh,
it kind of hammers home so if you knew that movie, which I didn't know the movie, unfortunately, I was like, I think I've seen that before, but what the fuck is the name of it? I read the name and I was like, oh, I kind of see where this movie's gonna go then.
I feel like there are some good classic horror influence with some of the choices made in this film. So
yeah, it kind of Psycho meets Rosemary's Baby. In a sense, where like got the voice in the head, but instead of the mom, it's the baby, and instead of it being a demonic possessed baby, you think it's a demonic
force of hell, but no,
it ends up just being a cute little child, and that voice in your head was just your own.
Yeah, that's crazy. This film was actually just more like a little bit more clever than I thought, especially when you think about the term cutting the cord. It's just like, it brings a whole new term to it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when, you gotta cut the cord on a baby, you cut the cord on life.
Cut the cord on saving an individual, cut the cord on letting go of the past, leave the past in the past.
Cutting the cord on apparently budget cuts too. Like, there's a lot of like references to cutting, which makes even more and more sense considering, one, she's pregnant, and two, this is like her being pregnant is like a part of the past that she's kind of had to deal with and live with. And now, you never know, it may, having the baby out in the open now may change things.
No.
But
no,
you never...
You saw that
change
ending.
things as in like, maybe there's a chance you can finally start healing from it.
You saw the ending. Ruth left that poor little child, met old rock climbing instructor, and pushed him off the cliff.
The way that this thing freaking subverted that, I was like, this is gonna be postpartum depression all over. Like,
well, I thought she was about to commit suicide. I thought she was gonna go see Matt, and I was
hoping that it wasn't gonna be like that.
I mean, I don't know. I was weird. I was like, okay. So at first I was like, oh, she's going to stick with the baby and everything's going to be all right. Happy ending. I'm good with that. Then she leaves the baby and goes to the rock set and, puts the picture down and sees Matt over there. I'm like, oh, she's going to commit suicide. And I still like this ending. And then Matt turns into the rock instructor and he's like, the fuck you doing here? And she does that scream from the movie and it just cuts to black. I'm like, heh. She pushed his ass off.
But you know what, though? I don't think he was surprised that he was there. It looks like he was almost like surprised, but at the same time, like, huh, what you doing back here?
Well,
Instead of like, oh, what the fuck are you doing here? Kind of like that.
I feel like it was more of a, because he took her to the hospital. He knows she just had a baby, so it's like, what? Why?
So why are you here? That last cut though, that was a great ending though. Like,
I thought it was, because literally I had 3 endings for this movie in my head just go completely out the window. So yeah, good job.
So shit, what is there to talk about with this film?
The comedy. It's fucking hilarious.
To you.
Oh, I thought it was so good when, like, she's drinking, or not drinking, but drinking with Dan and splashes the alcohol in Homeboy's face.
That was funny.
The
There was
whole-
a lot of good
The
physical
whole
humor.
scene where it's she's about to kill what's her name, Lynn, the
Oh,
exercise
yeah.
freak, and she's standing there with a knife. Lynn's like, I've already called the cops, and she's like, okay, well, I need to do this quickly then. And Lynn just punches her in the nose. She's like, ow!
Can you stop?
Can you stop doing that? No, you're gonna kill me. Punches her again. Would you please stop? And they just have a little conversation. Just,
Now
it's
that's
like, what
British.
are you doing?
Now that's British humor for you.
No, this movie's fucking hilarious.
And you know what though? I feel like there were some classic cinema verite moments too. Because especially when you go through the crowd and they're like looking at the camera. I was like, oh my god, they must not know that the actual movie is being filmed. Or it's like, oh, it's a random camera. We're gonna just like say, ah. Then again, it was during Halloween, so it makes sense, but it's also like hilarious.
Well, it definitely could have been that. They could have just like taken the camera out to the streets in London on Halloween and it was just like, hey guys, do something for the camera real fast.
I love shit like that, not even gonna lie. Like, I eat shit like that up for breakfast. Cinema verite is my shit, man. I love it when just things just happen naturally as they are, and they're not always, like, scripted. It's kind of like reality TV in a way.
Yeah.
I think cinema verite is a precursor to reality TV because you put one stimulus into the environment and just see everything kind of go buck wild.
Yeah, but
And
of
I like
course,
that a lot.
Of course, now all we have is reality TV.
Mm.
Not so much anymore. But like growing up, oh, it was bad.
Well, I mean, we did grow up during the time during the writer strike.
Still though,
We grew up during the writer strike, so that's why we got so much reality TV. Because we already had a good little bit, but that writer strike kind of fucked us up.
That was so bad. Do you remember the Amish Mafia?
The whole
There was
era
a fucking
where Amish people just had TV shows left and right.
But like all of it made sense though. Yeah, Amish people going to work, day in a life with an Amish guy. Hey, how do Amish carpenters do things? All that makes sense. The Amish fucking Mafia. You mean to tell me you're gonna make a show about people committing crimes, yet they don't get arrested? It's the same thing with fucking moonshiners. And it baffled me. It baffled me because at the time they made moonshiners. Moonshine was being sold in stores. So I knew, okay, it's not really technically illegal. It's just distributing it without like a label or something like that is illegal. Some bullshit like that. But here's the thing about the show, because I watched one fucking episode to get like what's so cool about this show. Why has it got like fucking 8 seasons? What's going on here? They're filming the moonshiners making the illegal product while also filming the cops trying to arrest the moonshiners. That doesn't make sense.
That's Viceland for you.
Doesn't make sense.
That's Viceland for you. They don't make sense, but
fuck reality TV, man.
It's the pinnacle of reality TV. It's the pinnacle of journalism. Bite me on this one.
No, it was a good reality TV show, Alone. It was good. You just fucking drop someone off in the middle of the woods and let them do their thing. Man, those motherfuckers go crazy after a while.
I mean, shoot. I guess this will happen to, almost an Alice Lowe.
Left her alone for 3.5 days and Prevenge is what we got.
Yes, you left her alone with nothing but, like a freaking...
Just anger, regret, and a baby bump.
Yeah, basically. And now look what happened. We have a very clever, very budget movie.
We have a scene where a testicle slips out of a ball sack.
Man, this is what they meant when they said a classic budget horror film, and you can just tell that they had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, no, you can see they had a lot of fun with this. It's good.
It was fun. It looks like it was a lot of fun. Isn't the best? It's not the best movie, of course, but you can tell they had a lot of fun. So that's kind of my take on it, my shtick.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is like probably our quickest review, but there's just not a lot of meat to this movie, unfortunately. Even though we've talked about I feel like we've talked about quite a few things, and you can get a lot from this movie. But at the same time, what you see is kind of what you get.
It's straight to the point.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We don't have to have all kinds of deep symbolism when it comes to horror and, a lot of things like that. Like, we had a crap ton of that all the way before. Like, there was a lot of symbolism before, and then we got to Jennifer's body. So now
that was just me for 30 minutes oozing over the emo music.
We're just like thinking one thing, and Prevenge made me go out on the other end thinking something completely different. And you're just like, oh,
yeah, and
I'm here for it.
Yeah, and just because we didn't like focus or talk about it as much as other movies doesn't mean it's not good. I still thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
There's still a lot this movie offers. Like, it's kind of sort of fun, and if you just like horror it's like horror, but you don't have to think about it much. You don't have to think about this much to watch it. You get to enjoy it, and at face value is the same as what you're gonna get when you think about it a little bit more. And this could relate to some people. Like, the deeper meanings of this film, there are good deeper meanings of the film. It doesn't necessarily relate to my experience, but that doesn't devalue said experience.
Yeah,
it's very niche for what this film is for, I think.
I still thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good.
It gives light camp. So I it goes right in my alley too. So, final thoughts.
I already gave my final thoughts. It was good. I don't know what else to say. It's funny. I genuinely like British comedy. I like that dry, bleak kind of just not really overtly in your face, but subtle. The humor is in the commitment, the dialogue, and the performance itself. I find that shit funny. So I like British comedies. This one was a pretty decent British comedy. I thought it was funny. The gore made me very squeamish, so I was very happy about that. The story's basic, to the point, not a whole lot of substance, not a whole lot of meat for me personally to grasp, but I still enjoyed it.
There's not much to sink your teeth into, but it's nice and lean. Let's put it like that. It's nice and lean.
I mean, I would give it a pretty, in the middle. 3 stars.
I give it about the same. Maybe a 2.9, because it's not my favorite. I'm just not a big fan of British comedy per se, but like I said, there's a certain charm, and there's people who are going to understand the deeper meanings of the film, and the voice of the baby. That baby voice is the best part of the film.
It really was.
Hands down.
It really was. The fucker. The baby voice was amazing.
That baby voice is fantastic. So, yeah, I would give this about a solid 3 myself. Most because I'm not going to say it's mid. It's very average. It's very commitment. It gives a lot of commitment to make an indie film, especially for less than $100K. So, yeah, I respect that a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think we're the target audience, so
not even by the slightest.
To me, it's the same thing with Black Christmas. I can't review the newest iteration of Black Christmas. I can't review Black Christmas and have my point being taken seriously, because I am not the target audience for that movie. Watch, if you're the target audience, watch it for yourself. So we're not the target audience for this movie, so please check it out for yourself. You get your own opinion.
Honestly, for a little British indie film, I think you should give it at least one watch.
Oh yeah.
So do the thing with the bell on the YouTubes.
Oh yeah, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Check out all our episodes right here on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast fix.
And until then...
No, not until then. We still have so much to go, good sir. We still got all the social medias. We're on all the social medias.
I love you, Heath. I love you so much.
And you forgot. We didn't even tell them what we were going to watch next week.
Nah, I was going to say keep it a secret. Nah, we're not going to do that.
God damn it, Jay! No, next week we're actually watching a personal favorite, The Babadook.
So, I've never seen The Babadook. Nope, I've actually never seen it. I saved it specifically for this podcast.
What?
I know of The Babadook. I know of the story of it. But actually watching it, I'm saving it for the podcast.
Jay!
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's such a good movie. It's directed by Jennifer Kent.
Ooh.
No, have you seen
Jennifer's Body? Now we got Jennifer Kent.
No, have you seen The Nightingale?
Wait, what?
Have you seen The Nightingale?
That?
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you seen The Nightingale?
Yes. I've actually seen The Nightingale.
Yeah. No, same director. This one came first, though. The Babadook came first.
Oh. Okay.
No. Oh. See, I didn't know you didn't see The Babadook. Oh. Oh, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
See, like, with everything with The Babadook, you know what? I'm gonna save my opinions of The Babadook for whenever we actually watch it.
Are you talking about where Netflix fucked up?
Where The Babadook became a gay icon? Yes, that's how I found out about The Babadook.
No, actually, I love that. I genuinely love that, because when you watch the movie, you're like, the fuck?
I am so excited to see a queer legend just pop up from above. Like,
you're gonna watch the movie and go, what the fuck was Netflix thinking?
What kind of gay shit is this? And I'm gonna be here for it, just so you know.
Oh my god. But no, it's... Oh, I can't believe you've never seen The Babadook.
I have not.
Dude, I'm going through all my... Because I know how you are with movies now. And I honestly don't think that we have watched a genuinely scary movie yet.
I'm scared.
I think the closest we've come is A Woman in Black.
No, A Woman in Black was... It was pretty damn scary. Oh, this one's gonna be even worse. Oh, and it's animated too?
It's not animated.
It's not?
No, it's not animated.
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna shit my pants.
If it's in a word or in a look, you can't escape the Babadook.
Ah!
No, dude.
I'm so excited for this.
Oh, I am too. Oh my god, I'm gonna be watching you the whole time. Fuck the movie.
Alright, so
now, until next time, I've been Heath.
And I've been Jay.
And you've been listening to Host of Horrors.